Hello everyone, greetings from VNR JYOTHI Institute of Engineering and Technology. This is Manohar Reddy, Department of Cybersecurity, Data Science and AIDS. Today in this session I am going to discuss about the concept of data link layer framing methods. So how data link layer will works and what is meant by the framing and how the framing techniques are useful in the data link layer. All these concepts will cover in this session. So first of all, what is meant by data link layer framing? So framing is one of the function in the data link layer and it is one of the responsibility of the data link layer. So framing is the process of dividing continuous streams of data into smaller units called frames. Each and every smaller unit will be called as frame. So in the layers architecture, if you see all the layers architecture, each and every layer will be taking the responsibility of data transmission. So how the data will be transmitted from source layer to next layer, that is source layer to destination layer. So before transmitting all this data, the continuous stream of data will be divided into smaller units, that each and every unit will be called as frames. So before transmission over the network, the data link layer is the second layer of the OSI model and it is for creating these frames. So the main responsibility of data link layer is to creating all these frames. So framing is a data link layer function that divides data into manageable units called frames and identifies frame boundaries, enables error detection and ensures reliable communication between network devices. So when you want to communicate one device with another device, like a computer to the router, or computer 1 to the computer 2, or a computer to the printer, if any device is communicating with a reliable manner, that it enables error detection and correction mechanisms. So when there is a data transmission, for each and every data transmission, the data is divided into small units called frames. So it is implemented using the methods such as character count, character stuffing and bit stuffing. So how this framing will works in the each and every device. So how these devices are communicated to perform the transactions or to perform the operations. Suppose, see the examples. Suppose a sender wants to transmit a message, hello, how are you? So without framing, the receiver sees a continuous stream of bits and may not know where on message one ends and another begins. So if you see this entire line, hello, how are you? This is not a separate frames and this is a completed stream of bits, right? So in this continuous stream of bits, without any framing methods, without any delimiters, how we can understand? So that is possible. So by applying the framings, suppose if you use the framing here, for hello is one frame and for how is another frame and r is another frame and u is another frame. So if we are creating all these is called as what? Framing. So the continuous stream of bits will be divided into small units, like hello is a small unit, how is a small unit, r is a small unit and u is a small unit. So each block is called as frame. Each and every block is called as frame. Why do we need framing? So we know the framing, but why we need the framing technique? So hello, how are you is one continuous stream of bits. If you are not framing that entire message, we will not able to understand what is the message exactly and where it is started and where it is ended, right? So why do we need framing? It identifies start and end of the data and the receiver must know where a frame starts. It is important to do this all framing for thus where a frame starts, where a frame ends. And without framing, hello, how are you is a continuous stream of bits. But with framing, hello is a separate frame, how is a separate frame, r is a separate frame and u is a separate frame. So during this separate framing, you will understand that where it is started and where it is ended. Where it is started and where it is ended. So the receiver knows that this is the starting of the message and this is the ending of the message. If you are not doing the framing technique, then the receiver may not be understandable where the message is starting and where the message is ending. That is the importance of the framing, to do the framing, right? And second one is what? Error detection. So frames contain control information. So when you are performing frames, each and every frame, the frame contains control information. Frame contain control information. So in this control information, the source address will be there, and destination address will be there, and sequence number will be there. For every frame, the information will be there: source address, destination address, sequence number, and error detection bits also. So if you see the header, the example, it takes the format. Header is one field and data is another field and CRC is another field. So this is the CRC for error detection and correction purpose, and header is one field and data is what you are going to sending the message. If the data becomes corrupted during the transmission, this CRC will help you to detect it and correct it. And third one is flow control. So framing helps the receiver process data frame by frame instead of receiving huge amount of data at once. So before sending, the sender having the message continuous stream of bits, but the receiver receives the message by framing of the messages. Because the frame, if you are not framing that message, the receiver cannot able to understand this is the starting of the message and this is the ending of the message. So the flow control is the it is a one type of framing, helps the receiver process data frame by frame instead of receiving huge amount of data. And fourth one is reliable communication. So using these protocols, the entire stream of bits will be taken place as a frames and it is sending towards the receiver. So protocols such as Ethernet, HDLC and PP point-to-point network, point-to-point protocol, all these protocol will help you to perform reliable communication between the two or more devices. This is very, very important in the data communication mechanism. So these are all the framing techniques, right? And how does framing works? So we will see the list of steps, step by step, how does framing works. So first of all, the step 1, data from the network layer. So where the data is coming from? The data coming from the network layer. So take an example, data is hello world. That is the data. So from network layer the data is coming, and next how the data link layer creates a frame. The step 2 is what? How data link layer receives this message from the network layer, and now for this entire message the data link layer creating the frames. How it is created? So it is having the format, header format like header and a hello world message. This is the data field, and here you are writing the hello world as a data and a trailer. So here header contains source address. Header contains what? Source address. So where it is coming from, that is the source address or header contains. And destination address, the control information, where it has to be received, that is the receiver side. And the trailer contains CRC or error checking bits. So whenever it finds any corruption of bits, that is detected by the CRC and corrected by the CRC. The next, after creating the frame to that message, the physical layer send bits. That entire message is converted into the bits. So entire message is converted into the frames. That physical layer is taking the responsibility of converting all these data into bits. The next, receiver receives bits. That entire bits are received by this receiver. All bits by the receiver side. So once receiver received all these bits, receiver converts bits back into frames. So he can able to convert back into that frames. So header and hello world and trailer. Now he is converting all these bits into frames and he is extracting the original data. That is hello world from this. This is an example of how we are going to we will see in the real times also. If you are ordering any particular item from the Meesho or particular item from the Amazon or particular item from the Flipkart, they will do what? They will pack the item. First of all, they will pack the item with one layer of item, and again they are packing with another packed item. So they are taking the sender, that is sender's shipped address, and they are delivering to the receiver address. They are delivering to the receiver address. So during this process, it takes maybe 5 days or 7 days, whatever it may be. So this is the process they are calling as framing. And once it is received by the receiver, they are deframing all these things, converting back into their original items. Now they are unpacking all these items and they will receive the original item. So that is the way they are unpacking the items and they are extracting the data, extracting their original item, original data. So this is what happens in the real time. So here now the framing techniques. What are the framing techniques? We already said that the character counting, count framing, character stuffing, bit stuffing, right? So now first one is what? Character count framing. So in this method, the first field of frame specifies the total number of characters present in the frame. So how many number of characters are present in the frame is the first field will be specifying. So first field of a frame specifies the total number of characters present in the frame. The receiver uses this count to identify the frame boundary. So identify the frame boundary. Suppose your data is what? Hello. And the frame is what? 5 hello, because the hello is the data which contains 5 characters, right? And now frame field is counting the number of characters, that is 5, and remaining the data. What is the data? Remaining data is what? Hello. So this is the where which 5 indicates the number of characters in the frame. So this first field, this first frame specifies the number of characters in the field. So this is the character count framing. So if you take an example, hi, so hi message having 3 characters and the frame is displaying with the 4. So this is the frame where the message contains, data contains 3 letters along with this 4th. So 4 are the frame field. So like this character count will be applied. And second one is what? Character oriented framing. Character oriented framing. That means special characters are indicates the frame boundaries. So when you are writing the data, hello, how are you? When you are writing the data, hello, how are you? So for all these data, you are applying the boundaries. So here, take an example. Hello is the message that you are going to sending the receiver side, and where you can indicate these special characters STX and ETX are the special characters that are starting of the text and ending of the text. Those are frame boundaries. So where STX equal to starting of the text and ETX equal to ending of the text. So frame will be, this is the frame. So STX hello and ETX starting of the text and ending of the text. These two are showing the boundaries of the particular data. So without these boundaries, how can we tell that this is the starting of the message, this is the ending of the message? So until and unless if you don't create the frames, you cannot say that this is the starting of the message and this is the ending of the message. So that is the character oriented framing. And third one, character stuffing. So character stuffing is nothing but adding special characters or escape characters used to mark the beginning and the ending of the frame. So we don't know what is the data is starting and what is the data is ending. So to mark that beginning and ending of the data or ending of the frame, we have to use the delimiters. So starting delimiter and ending delimiter. Escape characters. So what character that you want to stuff? So whenever the DLE appears, so this is the stuffed character. You want to stuff this DLE into the data. So whenever the DLE appears in the data, extra DLE is inserted. That means if your original data is what? This one, ABC DLE XYZ. This is the original data. Now what you want to do? You are going to do the stuffing, character stuffing. So in this character stuffing, out of all the original data, wherever the DLE occurs, that DLE is stuffed with the escape character, again DLE. So ABC, wherever the DLE occurs, there the escape character will be stuffed. In front of that DLE, the escape character DLE also stuffed. So now ABC DLE, DLE, XYZ. This is the stuffed data. Suppose take an example. Hello is one message. Hello is one message. Wherever the L occurs, there I want to stuff the data with the D. Where there I want to stuff the data with the D. So now I can stuff. So here the LL will occur. So now I can stuff the data D in the front of LL. So this is the stuffed data. This is the stuffed data. So we can use the starting delimiter and ending delimiter to stuffing this data. So this is the way character will be stuffing. And fourth one, bit stuffing. So bit stuffing is nothing but we can stuff the bits. So wherever the bits you are going to stuff, there you need to replace with the stuffed bit. So here frames begin and ends with a special flag. So suppose take an example, this is the data. Whenever the 5 consecutive ones occurs in the data, 0 is inserted automatically. So this is the 0 is you are going to stuffing the as a bit. So bit stuffing. So here original data is what? 5 ones 0, again 6 ones 0. 5 ones 0 and 6 ones 0. This is the original data actually. So what we are going to do, we are stuffing the 0 as inserting value where the 5 consecutive ones occurs. Where 5 consecutive ones occurs. No. Now the stuffed data here, after 5 ones we'll add 1 0 because we are stuffing the bits. And again remaining 0 is common, and again 5 ones occurs. After 5 ones occurs, again it will be add 0. Again it will be add 0, and remaining last 2 digit 1 0 will be occur. So like the way bit stuffing will be occur. Suppose take an example. If I having 0 1 1 0. Suppose if I having 0 1 1 0. In this, if I want to stuff the data, is 0 stuff. I want to stuff the data 0 where the ones are having 3 ones, where consecutive 3 ones are occur. Then I can stuff the 0. So the stuffed data is what? The stuffed data is 0, and because of these 3 are consecutively comes, I can stuff the 0 with this one. So the 0. So this is the stuffed data. This is the stuffed data. So this is the way we can perform different types of framing methods. Right. So I hope all of you understand about this concept. Thank you all.